Okay. Assalamualaikum and hi. I'll be giving a short briefing about the thesis writing. Okay. So we have from 40 slide, not so much lah. Okay. 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 For font type, you can choose from Times New Roman, Arial, or Calibri, but you should not mix the font type. So just choose one type only. Okay, and then the font size for the text or for the paragraph, you can use font size 12. And for table and figure, you can use size 10 or smaller, as long as it can fix in the table in the page. As long can fix the table in the page. Okay, or you can use a smaller size 8, 9, or whatsoever lah. Okay, which one you feel is okay. And the paper size, you will be A4 paper, so you can use 70 or 80 gram paper. But for submission for Viva, I think is 70 is okay, but for final you can use for 80 gram. Okay, so please set the paper margin, set as a A4 paper, and on the left is a 4 cm, and then above, bottom and right you set to 2.5 cm. Okay, for front cover, okay, this is the that you print on the hardcover. Okay, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4 things only here. So here you have the title, the font size is 18, and you have your name in the middle, and at the bottom is you write University of Science Malaysia, and then the year that you submitted, example 2022. So this one should be no page number. Okay, and for medical physics, you can bachelor medical physics, you can use purple color paper, and you cover with the plastic cover, but you should do stepper bind, don't use the ring bind. Okay, and then for medical physics coursework, master medical physics coursework, please use pink color paper, and for radiation science, use dark red color paper. Okay? And then later for final thesis, after the Viva, so you will given time to do some corrections. Okay, so you have to for radiation science, you have to print, you have to make one hardcover with dark red color. So commonly you have to submit two. So it will be one for school and another one for library, I think. Okay, and but you can make extras. Maybe you can make 4, so you can keep one for you, and another one you can give to your supervisors. Okay, currently you can just give to your main supervisor. The co-supervisor is up to you. Okay, and then for medical and bachelor medical physics, same like as you submit for Viva. Okay, and then cover page for medical physics. Okay, this is inside the thesis. Okay, but the first page of your thesis. Okay, so this page we tag as a page I, but it will be set as invisible, and the margin is the same, 4 cm above on the left, and above bottom right is 2.5 cm. So the title here, you can use a font size 14 and you write your full name here. Okay, the important thing is here. You must write thesis submitted in the fulfillment of the requirements for the degree of Bachelor of Applied Science, in bracket Medical Physics. So this is for undergraduate lah. Okay. And then you write when you submit the thesis. So let's say you are submitting your thesis in July or in July. So you can write July 2022. And again later when you submit for the final copy, then you maybe in August, so you change to August 2022. Okay. So for Masters Medical Physics, it's the same. Only you change the wording here. So this is submitted in the fulfillment of the requirements for the Masters of Science, and in bracket is Medical Physics. Okay. And next for radiation science, also the same. Only the sentence a little bit different. So you write dissertation submitted in the fulfillment of the requirements for Master of Science, in bracket radiation science. Okay. Okay, next we have the acknowledgement. So after this page, so the next page commonly we tag as page II or II. Okay, so for the acknowledgement, you must write in order. First, your main supervisor, and then followed by co-supervisor if you have, and then the research grant. Normally, research grant from your supervisors. Okay, that support to your work lah. Okay, and then specific lab, department or school that helping you doing your lab work. And then USM staff, if any. Okay, and then if you have a scholarship from Malaysia or from your own country, from overseas, you can also write here. Okay, next, you can add your colleague or lab mate. And the last one is your family and friends. Okay, so this page used set as page II or II. Okay, next we have the table of content. So normally, here we tag as page III or III. Okay, so for this order, so you put the acknowledgement first, table of content, list of table, list of figures, list of abbreviations, list of symbols. Normally, please separate abbreviation and symbols. Okay. And then abstract, you have to put the abstract in Malay first, and then abstract in English. Okay. And then chapter 1, okay, then you write your chapters lah. Chapter 1 to chapter 5. At least you minimum 5 chapters. Okay. And then list of table. Okay, you can use a column with the invisible line, like what my student done, or you can use a setting in the Microsoft Word, whatever you feel okay lah. Okay. So example here, if you set table 3.5, that's mean 3 means the chapter 3, and 5 if the sequence number 5 in that chapter 3. Okay, so same with the figures. Okay, so all graph, figure, picture. Okay, so we label as figure. Okay, so the same thing now. If figure 3.5 means 3 means for the chapter 3, and 5 means for the sequence number 5. Okay, so you can see the sequence here. Okay. Okay, list of abbreviation. So this is a short form used in the thesis. If you just use only once, so you don't have to make the abbreviations. Okay. Next, list of symbols. Okay, such as kilogram, Celsius, and so on. But this is quite simple lah. Okay, next we have the abstract in Malay. Okay, abstract in Malay should be tally with the abstract in English. Commonly, you or here we write in actually sorry, this one should be write in English first, and then you translate to bahasa Melayu. Okay, or you can do in Malay first, then you translate to English, whatever you feel okay. Yeah, no problem with that. So it should be around 1 to 1.5 pages. Okay, then next for the abstract in English. Okay, so the meaning should be similar. Let's say for the first sentence, excessive use of lead, blah blah, and so on nanti to human and environment. So the first sentence should be similar lah to the first sentence here, and so on. Okay. So in the abstract, okay, we have 5 things that you should have. You should have a short introduction. Okay, for thesis, you have to get a short introduction, just around 3 lines, 4 lines, or something like that lah. Okay, for my student, she used for 3.5 lines. Okay, and then you put your objective or your main objective only. Okay, so she used around 3 lines or something like that. So this is just estimate. Okay, so I want to see I just want to just a guidance for you. Okay, then you put the methodology. So the methodology a little bit more than the introduction then than the objective, but it should be not more than the result. Okay, so the result should be the most thing that you want to write here in the abstract. Okay, so maybe example here, the result you can write around 10 lines, and at the end you can write the conclusion. So conclusion is like you can write whether your work have a benefit on the humankind or for the future work or whatsoever lah. Okay. Okay, so for chapter 1, I would like you to put all these, at least these 5 things. Okay, the first one is the background study, then followed by problem statement, objective study, scope study, and thesis outline. So for the chapter 1, you can write around 10 to 15 pages, but I think time is enough. Time is okay actually. Okay, but don't go more than 15. Okay, so this is just a short introduction about your thesis. So it quite simple lah for this chapter 1. Okay, so you can begin the first your thesis or the chapter 1 introduction with a page 1. Okay, so at the background of study, you can just briefly explain the general knowledge about your research area. So like my student here, she done about the radiation shading, so she just talk a little bit quite general about the radiation shading. Okay, next, when you already talk about the things that related to your studies, then you can narrow down to the problem statement. Okay, problem statement is very important because it's stated, or it should consist the main reason why you have an interest on this study or work, or so why you want to do this work. So you must add at least 3 to 4 reference, okay, that you use as a main reference for your study. Okay, or maybe in that commonly you can find at the end of the paper, it will state before the conclusion. Normally before the conclusion, it will state limitation of their study or something like that lah. So from that, you can say you got an idea to expand the studies, or whatever the weakness that found by that study at that time. Okay, so here again, the problem statement you can write around half pages, but half pages I think quite short, so you can write around 1 to 3 pages. Okay, but you must add the reference. Okay, if you just add the problem statement without the reference, so it's like nothing. It's like you just talk to yourself. So you talk without evidence. So it's not good lah. Okay, and then for objective of study, you can refer back to your thesis title. Normally, your supervisor will give you a title, so you just adjust the title to become the objective. So you can have 1 or 2 objectives. Okay, you can discuss this one with your supervisor. No problem with that. Okay, so just show the main work of your study, but be careful. Choose wisely the word here, the font word. Okay, so you should choose the word that you can measure the work or the things that should be done. Example here, to analyze, to examine, to identify, to characterize. Okay, so something that you can measure. Okay, okay, next we have scope of study. Okay, so scope of study is like a limitation of your study a little bit. That's mean you need to add what is included, what is excluded in your study. Okay, even it's like a limitation of the study, but actually it's good. That's mean you are telling the other people, or you are telling the reader or the examiner that you only study this part only. You will not study the other part. So your thesis is more focused. Okay. Um, so example, this study use 100 example lah, 100 and 120 kbp. Or if you read here, my student write 60, 80, 100 and 120 kbp. So that's mean below than 60, she will not use. Okay, but actually she exactly use that 60, 80, 100 and 120 kbp. So this is her limitation of study lah. Okay. Okay, next, this is online. It's very simple. It just to briefly inform what these chapters in this chapter, what do you put or the content in the chapters. Okay, so commonly the sentence here, the first chapter discuss on the introduction of the project, and the second chapter discuss on the previous researchers that show the literature review and so on lah. So just briefly inform what discussed in each chapter. Okay. Okay, next for chapter 2, commonly is the literature review and or theories. Okay. Some lecture they like to put theory and literature review also can. Okay. So example like what my student done, she talked about the waste product. So normally we begin with the general, or we talk about a simple first. Okay, so you can add the theories, reviews. Okay, but the each subtopic should be connected. Okay, when you what can I say? When you from 2.1 to 2.2 and so on, there's a connecting. Okay, the story is connected. Okay. Example here, she talked about the waste product first. Okay, then she talked about the eggshells, and then clay, cement, then goes to the tungsten graphene, and then she talked about the pattern shading material. Okay, so how to organize this one, you can discuss with your supervisor lah. Okay, so for this chapter 2, you can write around 20 to 30 pages, but I think 25 is okay. So you can add also graph, figure. Okay, so graph and figure, if you copy from the other, or you take from the other writer or author, you should also put the reference. And also, if you copy table from the other writer, please rewrite the table. Don't just copy paste, because it looks like a little bit lazy if you just copy paste as original. I mean, if you copy paste like a figure. Okay, so please retype if you take the value from the reference. Sorry, yeah, for the other journals. Okay, and next for the chapter 3, materials and methodology. Okay, like for my student here, she combined both materials and methodology in one subtopic, in all subtopic. But there's some lecturers, they prefer to make example 3.1 is materials, 3.2 is methodology. So both methods are valid. Okay, so you can discuss with your supervisor lah. Okay, so here you need to explain how the sampling or the testing is being done. So maybe you can begin about the sampling first, then you go deeper for the next methodology and so on lah. So normally we discuss the simple one first. Okay. And also please do not explain any result in here, even you have the pilot study. Okay. You also can add relevant figure and table, or if you have a detailed calculation, you can put at the end of the, or you can put in the appendix. Okay, so commonly methodology is a little bit, the pages is a little bit more than the chapter 2. Okay, but sometimes it can be almost equal, also still okay. Okay. Next, for chapter 4, we have result and discussions. So you can report all your result here, including the pilot study. So you can begin, if you have the pilot study result, you can begin at 4.1. Okay, like for my student here, she discussed about the sample blocks that she prepared for her study, and then she continue with the analysis. Okay, so that's mean you can begin with the simple analysis result first, then you continue with the your main result. Okay, you can add also the graph tables that are relevant to your work. Okay. Okay, so you need to interpret the data. So you just don't just say the value is high, the value is low. Okay, you must say why you got the value is high and why the value is low. Okay, or you can support maybe your result in your work is low, but if you when you refer to the other reference, their result is high. So example lah. So when you got a contradict or you got similar, so this is can make your thesis argumentation much better, not just stating the result is high or low. Or you also can add statistical analysis, whichever you feel relevant to your studies. Okay. So as I write here, so this chapter is very challenging. Of course, this very challenging actually. If my commonly I told my student, please write chapter 4 first. Okay, then after chapter 4, you can begin chapter 3, methodology, and you can begin chapter 5, and you can go back to chapter 1 and then chapter 2. Okay. But if your result is not yet complete, so you can still writing the other chapters, but still later maybe you need to adjust a little bit lah. So that's normal. Okay. Um. Okay. Next, chapter 5. This is the conclusion and recommendation. We only have two things here: the conclusion and recommendation. Two things only. So the pages around 2-3 pages is common lah. It's okay. Okay, for the first paragraph for conclusion, you must mention if you have successfully achieved all of your objective study, or partially achieved, or not achieved at all. Okay, if you not achieve your objective, then you have to state why you did not achieve. Okay, so for example here, my student says, she said the first objective is partially achieved according to what she understands, and the second objective is fully achieved. Okay, so you also can write something like this. Okay. So in the conclusion, so you can conclude the whole result. So you try to avoid giving the numbers in subtopic. If you see the numbers here, actually this is not the number, but this is more to refer to the label of the block. Okay. Okay, next the recommendation. You can recommend what can be done for future study. Okay, so what do you think is good? What you because you already see your weakness, or you can see what you can do more in your study. Okay, so just write half pages or 1 pages, up to you lah. Okay. Okay, next we have the reference and also the appendix. So I will talk about the reference first. Okay, this is an example that my student do. She arranged the reference according to ABC. So this is what it should be like lah. Okay, but the C here, C Tyler, actually this is should be Tyler, comma C, and Simkis, comma K. So she write it. This is wrong. This one. Okay, but others you can refer this one. Okay, so the last page of the reference will be the last page of the thesis or your thesis, the chapters. Okay, so you just use one style. If you put the name here and then you put the year, then use this style. Okay, there are many styles. Just use one style only. Okay, and if you get the take the paper, it's good if you can add also the doi.org. You can find this one um in the journal or in the paper that you take for your reference. Okay. Okay, I just write the reference type as type 1, 2, 3, so it'll be easier. There is a name actually, but I just write 1. Okay, type 1, we have a author name and year. Something like this lah. Marlon et al. Okay, Andrew. If you see Andrew 2000, that means this only for one author only. You see here, the Andrew, one author only. And Barcelo I don't have here. Barcelo et al. Because they have more than 3 and above. Okay. Marlon, I did not put it here. Okay, so the example sentence will be like this lah. Okay, so for first author, let's say the Marlon only one author, so you will write in bracket Marlon, 1989. If two author, let's say this is Marlon and Borden, so here will be Marlon and Borden 1989. If 3 and above, okay, so you just write Marlon et al. Dot comma 1989. Okay, if you see here, there's another way of expressing the reference. If you see here, I put all the name and the year in the bracket. And for this one, the sentence, when you want to mention the reference, so you can say from a study by Barcelo et al. And you put in bracket 2014. Okay, so there's the two way of writing lah. So if you want to say the Andrew 2018, you can say from study by Andrew, then bracket 2018. Okay, so the same thing lah, only the year you put in the bracket if you want to mention the author name. Okay. Okay, the next one, you can write by numbers. Okay, so if I copy paste this sentence to here, so it will be bracket 1, then dot. Okay, so dot is after the bracket. Okay, so here also from from a study by Barcelo et al. And bracket 3 and close the bracket. Okay, so this is second type lah. Okay, you can use also. And when you arrange the reference, you should arrange according to the numbers. According to what you add first. Okay, I think but in the Word, they have a system. You can add on in the system. Okay, but here I just show you the how I do it manually. Okay, and next for chapter type 3, we use a subscript number, something like this. This is common. This type 2 and type 3 is commonly used by the journal because they want to save the spacing. Okay, so for if you want to subscript a number after the dot, then you put number 1, then you subscript the number. Okay. Okay, the last one is the appendix. So you can add any documents, relevant documents here, such as DT calculations. Okay, so appendix A, example, begin after the last page of the reference. So you will start with the page 1. Okay, you also can put your raw data if you want. Okay, so that's all I think I already shared with you. So if you have any problems, you can message to me. Okay, so then I will explain to you lah if you have any questions. Okay, so thank you.